I gotta ask, why did interactive movies never take off? Seriously, they're kind of cool.
Okay, everyone!
Why have you brought this here?
They threatened to drug me. Threatened to drug you. Oh, you surprised me.
Give me the ball. Trust me, please.
I mean, we've all kind of seen them. Interactive movies. I mean, yes. They tend to be more gimmick than legitimate medium or art form. But I mean, Netflix kind of dabbled their fingers in a little bit with like Bandersnatch, and I think they even did one with like Bear Grylls, but the Bandersnatch one was kind of a bigger deal. And like we've seen these sometimes. I think the sequel to what was it, House on Haunted Hill did like an interactive mode where you could choose it. Even what was it, Final Destination 3, they had a mode where you could actually like change the outcome of certain deaths, and that one was very rudimentary. You just got like a cue card like telling you what happened differently, but it was still kind of a fun gimmick. But then you got stuff like The Late Shift, or Late Shift, and I love the concept of a playable movie, I'm not going to lie. Being able to choose the outcome of certain characters' decisions in a story is really cool. The concept's really awesome, and this company, Wales Interactive, that's like all they do. They do these interactive movies that's kind of go by the wayside. Not a lot of people really pay much attention to them. You might have one or two of their games, but thankfully they're still up and going, and they're still, pumping out interactive movies that you can get on, Xbox, PlayStation. I've even seen them available on a Nintendo Switch storefront. And these are live-action movies, basically, where you get to choose certain decisions or outcomes of characters. Some of these are better executed than others. Like, there's, oh my gosh, I can't remember the name of it. There's one involving a psychiatrist where you play the psychiatrist and you're trying to figure out who the murderer is among your clients. Unfortunately, they don't really explain that you have to actually type out random questions. You can't just choose the pre-arranged questions. And like, I was playing it, and eventually it's just like, oh, the murderer got away. It's like, what? But that's a different story for a different time. Let's talk about Late Shift. And Late Shift, basically, you're playing as this character, Matt. He's a young kid going through college, and he works at a parking garage on the late shift, hence the title. And basically, someone's trying to steal one of the nice cars in his garage. And that little pebble drop in the pond creates this ripple effect that basically takes them on this wild ride through the cities or the streets of London over the course of one night. And overall, it is a fun story. I'm not gonna lie. I thought it was a kind of a cool story. Basically, this ordinary guy just falls in with London mobsters and Chinese triad and ancient pottery being stolen and blood feuds. It's like, it makes for a really fun time. And surprisingly, it's not that long of a game. I mean, when you really get down to it, one playthrough can last you about an hour and a half, sometimes even an hour if you pick certain choices certain way. It feels like it's a 2.5 hour movie, but it's not really. It's actually more just an hour to an hour and a half. Sometimes you can stretch that longer depending on some of the choices, but it moves along at a pretty brisk pace. And I did feel like the acting for the most part was pretty solid. Couple of lines, the delivery's not perfect, but honestly, if this was an ongoing show, I wouldn't have too much of a complaint. I thought everyone did a pretty good job with this. And so, something like this, you kind of want decent acting, and I felt this one had pretty decent acting. Now, I will admit, some of the production value felt lacking. Case in point, some of the scenes they were trying to do, it didn't quite feel like they had the budget for it. Also, case in point, there's a MacGuffin in this story, and they make a big deal about it, and it doesn't look that special. And it's just like, really? That's it? That's all this has been about? I think we could have made this just look a little bit flashier, a little bit nicer. I mean, it looks like something I could find in a thrift shop pretty easy. So, just some of the production value needed, I don't know, a couple more $1,000, not even that much. I mean, because what there is with locations is great. They just needed to fix some of the props, in my opinion. Going back to you being able to choose the choices of this one character, Matt, I had a lot of fun with that. It was fun one playthrough, having him just kind of like this fish out of the water. He has no idea what he's doing. And then my next playthrough, it was really fun having him play like this dark, mysterious stranger that like is cool in every situation and like just doesn't give a rat's ass. It's fun having him play a good citizen trying to do right. It was fun having him play a criminal, like he's willing to break the law. I mean, it was really fun being able to change certain things with his persona. But this is where the biggest issue of the game comes in, and that is the illusion of choice. Unfortunately, the game doesn't really give you a lot of radically different choices until the end, or until the last half hour. Yes, there are certain things you can miss. There are certain threads that if you pull on, open up new, routes and new locations. But my wife and I, we were playing through this a couple of times, trying to unlock all the endings, and we kind of found that this game kind of... let me see if I can find something to use as an example here. This game kind of has like a linear line to it, okay? And there are little threads that come off and feel like you're going on a different line, but then they just arc back onto the same line. Now, you would never notice this on playing it just one time, but when you play through it again and again and again, you start noticing this one line that you can't escape no matter how hard you try. Now, grant, we have not unlocked every ending, but we have unlocked like 7 endings or 13 endings? We've unlocked like 70% of the endings, okay? So it's not like we played this once and then that was it. We played through this multiple times, and we were trying to find all the endings, and it got a little difficult with one ending especially. But yeah, it was a little disappointing how it feels like you have so many choices with this story, and in reality, you don't really. It's very linear in reality, and it's just kind of unfortunate that they couldn't have more varied directions that you could have gone with this story. Like, case in point, at the beginning, there is a way to escape the garage at the beginning when the guy is robbing the car. One of the ways is he robs the car, he holds you at gunpoint, and you have to get in the car with him. But you can escape, and it's like, oh wow, this is kind of amazing, until someone pulls up and just like, get in the car. There's no way you can get outside of that. So you are ultimately going to end up where the first guy robbing the car was going to go, and there's no way around that. I mean, like, it would have been interesting if there was actually a way to end the game right there by not getting the car with the guy, but you don't get that. And so I don't say that's a deal breaker for this game, but you should just know going in that it's not as varied as the trailers or the description of the game may lead you to believe. Yeah, like only the endings have serious variations. It's like you have the line going and going and going, and then at the very end, it spreads out into like the key endings, and it's like, okay, certain decisions made at the beginning help affect which path you go, but throughout that entire path, it doesn't really fray out until you reach the 80% mark. But like, one of the hardest things to do in this game is unlock the ending where you save May. Like, my wife and I, we were desperately trying to figure out how to not have May die in this, because it's really easy to have her die, and we've yet to actually unlock that ending, so it's difficult, and we didn't want to look up how to do it. We wanted to try and do it like naturally without any instructions. So, I mean, in the end, yeah, late shift was a lot of fun. My wife really enjoyed it. I enjoyed it. It's definitely one of those games, I wouldn't say pay full price, but if you ever see it on sale, grab it, because you're going to have kind of a fun night watching this interactive movie play out and finding all the different, scenes that you can unlock. And there are some good gotcha moments where it's like, oh, this is new, but then it gets you back on the same thread that you're supposed to be on. But no, it's a fun game. I would not say it's worth full price, but definitely it is worth a good sale price if you ever find it. So anyway, that's been my review of Late Shift. There's no tips and tricks fair with this one, just because it's an interactive movie. If you need tips and tricks for an interactive movie, you're in worse trouble than you think. But anyway, hope you guys enjoyed the review. My name is Chris Rakoff, 11 Hour Reviews, and that will be all for today.